Okay. So in continuation with that, so till now we discussed the accounting standard, the meaning of accounting standard, the objective, advantages, disadvantages, and also we completed the AS tool accounting for government grants. Okay. So today we will start with the new accounting standard, that is AS 16, borrowing cost. AS 16, borrowing cost. Okay. What is this borrowing cost? What do you mean by borrowing cost? What is borrowing actually? This is, you know that interaction oriented classes, I expect your participation. I expect some suggestion or some your views, so that we will continue accordingly. What is borrowing? General meaning, lending money. Somebody has, Lahari has mentioned lending money. Then money or loan taken on credit. Abraham. Then what else? So correct, they are correct. Borrowing is, we want money and we have to repay that money with some terms and conditions. So we are receiving money from banker or private people's finance company, all those things for some purpose. Borrowing is for maybe a personal purpose, or it may be for business business purpose. So borrowing cost here, A 16, borrowing cost here we are going to discuss about business oriented, not personal borrowings, or personally we borrow, we repay, that is not covered under this category. This is for business. Okay. So as you explained that this is lending money or receiving money for some reason with some terms and conditions, we have to repay that, that is borrowing. Then what is borrowing cost? What is borrowing cost? If I borrow, what is the cost the borrower will incur? If the borrower is borrowing money, Abraham is mentioned that interest. Yes, that is also a borrowing cost. What is this cost, borrowing cost? Any idea? Process fees. That is also a type of borrowing cost. Yes, from Senapati. That processing fee. While processing the loan, banker will charge some processing fee apart from interest. Cost incurred. So whenever we borrow, we have to pay primarily interest to the lender. Apart from principal, we have to pay interest also. Fine. That is one major borrowing cost. Other than that, the minor borrowing cost and all, while borrowing, we have to pay some processing fee, loan processing fee, documentation fee, and a lot of other charges, consulting fee, auditor fee, legal fee, and also fee to the engineers. Like this, there are many other ancillary miscellaneous charges also we have to pay to the borrower. We have to incur for the purpose of borrowing. All these costs are part of this borrowing cost. Primary thing is interest. That is the major portion. Okay. So now we know that already what is borrowing, and also interest. Cost means interest. That also we know. But why this standard actually? A 16 borrowing cost. Why there is a separate standard required for this topic? First of all of you must be aware that interest expenses, interest, whatever we pay to the borrower, what is the accounting treatment for interest? Just share your views. I incurred some interest. I paid to my borrower. How to account that interest in my books of accounts? What is your view? Just share your view. Please share your view. Interest account debit to bank. Then any other answer? Any other answer? If I pay interest, if I pay interest to the bank, what is the accounting treatment? How I will account? And compound interest. Compound interest. What is? I am asking about accounting treatment. If I pay interest to my banker, how I will account that element in my books of accounts? Interest section expenses debited to profit or loss account. Good. So, do we agree that interest is an expenses which should be debited to P&L account? Do you agree? Yes or no? You type. Interest is an expenses which should be debited to P&L account. Yes, you type yes or no. Interest is an expenses so debited to P&L account. Yes. Yes. From Nisha, yes. Try to participate. Try to participate. Just try to participate yourself. Yes. Of course, yes. Interest is an expenses which should be debited to P&L account. Correct. All of you correct. Then what we are going to study in this A60? Because borrowing cost, you know that whenever we borrow, we have to repay with interest. That interest is an expenses. It should be debited to P&L account. Then what is the purpose of the standard? Why we are going to study this one? So interest is an expenses. It's a revenue expenditure. So it is incurred for the purpose of business. Correct? It is incurred for the purpose of business. So I am debiting to my P&L account. It's an operating expenses. It's a part of my regular activity. So the point is, what is meant by this matching concept? What do you mean by this matching concept? As per you, what is matching concept? What is matching concept? What should be matched with what? What should be matched with what? What should be matched with what? Just type in few lines. So the matching concept is basically the related cost should be matched with the corresponding revenue. Income made to be matched with the expenses incurred from the scene. Yes. Whatever the expenses, why I am incurring expenses? For the purpose of generating revenue. Then what do you mean by matching concept? My expenses, my related expenses should be matched with my related revenue for the particular period. For the particular period, whatever the revenue, how much revenue you generated, for that what you spent, both should be matched. That is called matching concept. That is why I am debiting to my P&L account interest because I am generating revenue. I'm generating revenue, so I'm matching my expenses versus revenue. This is we know. That is why we are debiting to P&L account. But in case there are a lot of borrowings, in case there are a lot of borrowings which they borrow for some projects, which they used to borrow for project. Projects means, for example, construction work. Project means, for example, construction work. Project means, for example, construction work. Okay. So, for example, I'm going to construct a mall. For example, I'm going to construct a mall. It will take 5 years to complete the construction. It will take 5 years to complete the construction. I borrowed 100 crores from banker. First year, while starting the project itself, I borrowed 100 crores for the purpose of constructing this mall. Correct? 5 years. 5 years is the minimum period to construct that building, construct that mall. Okay? I borrowed 100 crore. 10% is the rate of interest. 10% is the rate of interest. Okay? So 10 crore is my interest. Correct? 100 into 10%, 10 crore. So what is my question is, should I pay interest from the first year onwards, or I should pay after 5 years? I should pay after 5 years. Construction is over 5 years. Then only I will pay interest, because I don't have revenue. So I will not pay interest now. I will pay after 5 years only. I will not pay anything now. What is your view? Whether this point is valid point or not a valid point? I should pay interest on first year itself, or I can pay after 5 years? What is your view? First year itself. Someone has messaged. First year itself. First year onwards. From Pravina. First year onwards. I think first year. Because banker will not agree. That's why you are saying first year. Correct? Revati, after 5 years. After 5 years. After 5 years, it's very rare only you will get that type of loan. Someone will say holiday period. Holiday period. Actually, they will calculate interest from the first year onwards, but they will collect from the fifth year. But generally, from the first year onwards, interest is applicable. So that means we have to pay the interest from the first year. But the builder will say, but that mall builder will say, I'm not generating any revenue on the first year. I'm not generating. Second year, I'm not generating. Third year, I'm not generating. Fourth year, I'm not generating. Fifth year, I'm not generating. But you are asking me to pay interest. How can I pay that? Because I don't have any revenue. Okay, anyhow, I have to pay the interest. I cannot tell my story to banker. Banker wants interest. So in this case, what will happen? In this case, I'm not generating any revenue, but I am paying interest. This is the scenario. So in this scenario, if I debit this interest expenses into my P&L account, if I debit this interest expenses in P&L account in first year itself, second year itself, third year itself, fourth year itself, fifth year itself, I am not correspondingly generating any revenue. So matching concept is missing here. The matching concept is missed here. Because sixth year onwards only I am generating revenue. So as per AA16 borrowing comes, that is why this AA16 is introduced actually. The purpose is, if you are not able to generate revenue because the project is not completed, mall is under construction, then you need not to debit the expenses, interest expenses into P&L account. Then what I should do? If I am not debiting to P&L account, what is the other option available to me? What is your suggestion? If I am not debiting to P&L account, then what I should do? I am paying interest regularly. Yearly I am paying interest. But I am not allowed to debit to my P&L account because matching concept is not followed. Then whatever I paid in first year interest, what I should do? As per you, what I should do? Income and expenditure account. Capitalization of interest. Good. Then, so if I don't have choice of debiting to my P&L account because matching concept is not followed, revenue is not there, then instead of debiting to my P&L account, I can capitalize that interest with my asset, cost of the asset. With the cost of the asset, I can add this interest expenses. That is the option available under AA 16. That is not an option. That is the rule. That is why it is standard. Okay, that is why it is standard. So if I'm not able to, I'm not completed my project. Project is under construction. I'm paying interest means. Then instead of debiting to P&L account, I can add this interest whatever I paid with my cost of the asset. That is all about this AA 16. Okay, that is all about this AA 16. Then rest of the things we will understand. But the ultimate objective of this AA 16 is capitalization of interest. Now what else we are going to study? What is assets under construction? That is called qualifying assets. Okay, when to capitalize, when to start the capitalize, when we should not capitalize. Okay, what is the rate of interest? How to calculate the rate of interest? All these things only we are going to study. Okay, I hope you understood the meaning of borrowing cost. Shall I proceed further? Shall I proceed to the next slide? Yes. 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 Okay. Scope. A16 laid down accounting treatment for borrowing costs. A16 laid down accounting treatment for borrowing cost and also defines what is borrowing cost and what is qualifying asset. Qualifying asset, I said no, asset under construction, asset under preparation. Okay, all these things is termed as qualifying assets. And recognition of borrowing cost. Recognition of borrowing cost in the sense, should I account this in my books of accounts or not? For that, what is the condition? When I should account this borrowing cost in my books of accounts? When I should not account? That is recognition. And also types of borrowing, that is nature of specific and general borrowings and treatment of related borrowing costs. Types of borrowings. Then timing of capitalization of borrowing cost. That is nothing but when I should account, when I should account under, when I should capitalize and when I should not capitalize, when I should stopping the capitalization. Okay, that is called commencement, suspend, and stop. Okay, that is nothing but when I should start capitalization, that is commencement. When I should suspend temporarily, I should stop. That is suspension. Stop means permanently I am stopping. I should not continue capitalization of interest. What commencement means? Capitalization of interest. That is what the whole topic. That is what this whole topic. Interest, when should capitalize, when should not capitalize. When I should stop capitalization. That is what all these topics. We will understand one by one. What is borrowing cost, what is qualifying asset, all these things we will understand. Next slide. Borrowing. The borrowing cost includes interest and other costs incurred related to borrowing funds. For example, interest and commitment charges, discount and amortization. So borrowing cost, as I said, the borrowing cost means I borrowed, I am going to repay. While repaying, I will pay my principal amount as well as some other amount. Some other amount, which amount is interest. Other things and all like processing fee, commitment charges in the sense, if I take the borrowing loan facility, I have to utilize that. I have to utilize that loan facility. If I don't utilize, and I have to pay some amount for that. Commitment charges. Commitment means I'm committing with banker. What I'm committing? If I borrow, I will definitely utilize and I will repay the interest. Simply, somebody is given sanction and I am not utilizing the loan, then I am not committing myself for the loan granted. Qualifying assets. Borrowing costs you know already. Borrowing costs you know already. That is interest, processing fee, all those things. New thing is qualifying asset. What is this qualifying asset? As I said, it is an asset under construction, asset ready for preparing for use. What is qualifying asset? We will go through here what is given here. It is an asset that necessarily takes substantial period of time to get ready for its use. Fixed assets or investment property or sale inventory. So what they are trying to say here? What they are trying to say, it is an asset that necessarily takes substantial period of time to get ready for its use. Fixed assets, inventory, fixed assets or investment purpose, investment property or sale of inventory. Okay. So this is what very important. Qualifying asset is new thing you should learn. Qualifying asset is any building. Take example mall again. That will take substantial period of time for to get ready for its use. Substantial period of time. What is the substantial period of time? Normally more than a year. That is not defined properly in the accounting standard. But substantial period of time means, sir, I started my constructing this mall, but it will take 5 years minimum. That is substantial period of time. Qualifying asset means asset is under construction, asset is under preparation. That is qualifying asset. The asset which will take substantial period of time to get ready for its use. Meaning presently I am not able to use that asset. Next year I am not able to use that asset. Third year also I will not able to use the asset. Use that asset. After 5th year only I am eligible to use this asset. For this 5 years, first 5 years, qualifying asset. When the asset is constructed, then that is not qualifying asset because construction is over and it is available for use also. Then that is not a qualifying asset. Okay? Why we are studying this qualifying asset? Because the objective of this accounting standard is capitalization. Objective of this accounting standard is capitalization of interest. Capitalization of interest for what asset? Capitalization of interest for qualifying asset. Then what is qualifying asset? This is qualifying asset. The asset which will take substantial period of time to get ready for its use. Then do you mean that qualifying asset means whether it is only fixed assets? Only building, only construction of big building, construction of plant and machinery. That is only you mean qualifying asset. Do you think that is the only qualifying asset? I mean fixed assets. Land and building, plant and machinery, all these things only qualifying asset. Factory construction, all these things only qualifying asset. What about inventory? What about inventory? Somebody is having inventory. Whether the inventory can be come under the qualifying asset. Whether the inventory can be coming under the qualifying assets. What is inventory generally? Inventory we will use for our production, raw material, finished goods. All these things are part of inventory. Whether this can be classified under qualifying assets. I am asking you. Whether that will take sufficient, very huge time, substantial period for constructing an inventory. Inventory, what is the meaning of inventory? generally? Stock. Stock means it is available for use. I can use for my production. Say for example, I borrowed money. I borrowed money. Okay. Why I borrowed? For buying raw materials or buying some stock. Why I buying some stock I borrowed. And that stock I can use it readily for my production. Whether that is a qualifying asset. Stock in progress. What type of stock in progress? Stock in progress, somebody has messaged. Okay. So the point is, yes, of course, inventory means normally it is available for use. You can use it for production. Correct. You can use for production. It is readily available for sale, trading activity, buying, selling the goods. That is also stock. That is also inventory. That is available for use readily. So what they are trying to say here is inventory which will take substantial period of time. You can't use that inventory immediately. You have to wait for some time. What type of inventory? Any example can you give me? Sir, this inventory I cannot get readily. It is not available for sale immediately, sir. I have to wait for some time, sir. Then only I can sell to my customer. What type of inventory it is? One of the example. Any one product you give me. This will take more time, sir. This will take more time. Machinery is fixed assets. It is not inventory. I'm asking about inventory. Inventory is a current asset. Any one product, sir, this product you can't immediately sell to customer, sir. You have to wait for many years. Then only you can sell this goods to the customer. What type of goods? Many products available like that. One of the thing you can say this. Take alcohol liquor industry. Liquor industry. Wine taken from the grapes. Whether can I take it immediately by just crushing the putting grapes in mixie and 2 to 3 times I'll just operate and can I take the wine immediately from the grape? Whether is it possible? Yes or no? Tell me. No, not possible. So I have to wait. That is also inventory. Wine is also inventory. If I do liquor business, then wine is an inventory to me. But that inventory I can't take it immediately. The customer is asking, I want 20 years old liquor. Then I have to keep store that liquor for 20 years. Then only I can sell in market. For this 20 years is a substantial period of time. Why I am keeping this 20 years? To get ready for its use. So there are some inventories, natural products also. Honey bee, you take honey bee. Sometimes that also will take more time to get extract the honey from the bee. So like this, there are many products available. For that, we can't take the output. We can't take the finished goods immediately. We have to wait for some time. Perfume. Somebody has mentioned perfume. Yeah, but maybe natural perfume we have to wait. Artificial perfume and all, putting some chemical you can generate immediately. Maybe natural perfume we have to wait. I'm not aware about much about perfume. I'm not using perfume and seasonal products. Yes, of course, seasonal products. Wine. So all your that's what I hope you understood. Ketchup. Ketchup, yeah, ketchup also, if you put tomato, we can get the sauce immediately, correct? It is not in a big process. If you put tomato in machine and you do some process, you will get it immediately. or it will take time? You have to wait for many years for getting the ketchup. Huh? I don't know. So we have to test it. We have to test the product whether it is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. That is also a job of a professional accountant. Okay. So why I am discussing this point? So for capitalizing the interest, you should know whether it is a qualifying asset or not. That is the first condition. Okay. If it is a fixed asset or current asset, only thing is whether it will take substantial period of time or not to get ready for its use. Okay. That is what required. So there are some inventory routinely manufactured. Sometimes they will ask in 1 mark also, inventory routinely manufactured means then that is not a qualifying asset. Routinely you are able to make products produce. Correct? So and also one more thing. Sometimes what will happen? I bought a machinery, plant and machinery. Bought a plant and machinery and I kept in my godown. I bought a plant and machinery, okay, and I kept in my godown. And I'm saying I'm not going to use this machinery for next 3 years. I'm not going to use this machinery for next 3 years, and I'm saying this is qualifying asset because I'm not using it. Do you agree with this or not agree with this? Just put yes or no. No from Vijay. Not agreed. Not agreed. No. No. Then all of you not agreeing, ah? Yes. Because if you are not using, that is your problem. If you are not using the asset, then that is your decision. I don't say problem, that is your decision because asset is already available for use. But you are not using, then you can't claim it as a qualifying asset. It is already completed. Asset, everything is completed. You are not using, then you can't term that as a qualifying asset. Okay? So I hope you understood what is qualifying asset. That is very, very important. Shall we go to the next slide? Next slide. Okay. Recognition. Accounting in books. So recognition, accounting in books of accounts of borrowing cost. Now we come to the next step. So the first step is identifying whether the asset is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. Next step is, yes, I identified it is a qualifying asset. Next step is what I should do. Yes, I identified the qualifying asset. What I should do in my books of accounts. That is the next step. So whether recognition, whether I should treat that borrowing cost in my books of account, there is some condition. What are the conditions? To recognize BC. BC means borrowing cost. Bracket like interest. For your understanding, I mentioned interest. That is capitalized. See, the whole exercise is for capitalization of interest only. We know already other accounting treatment, but capitalization of interest only we are focusing now. To recognize BC interest, that is capitalized, the following condition is to be satisfied. What are the conditions? It is probable that qualifying asset will deliver the future economic values. That's first condition. Second condition, the costs that are to be capitalized can be measured reliably. Costs that are to be capitalized can be measured reliably. That is the second condition. Third condition, other than eligible BC should be debited to P&L expenses in the period in which it is incurred. This is not condition. There is an alternative accounting treatment. So the point is, if I want to capitalize the interest in my books of accounts, the condition is, first condition is, I am constructing something. I'm building something that is a qualifying asset we know. I should be able to generate some future benefits from that asset. That is called future economic benefit. Why I am constructing the mall? Why I am constructing this mall? For first 5 years I am constructing. From sixth year onwards, what I will do on that? I will make revenue. I will make a revenue from that. I will able to generate revenue from that mall by introducing lot of charges, parking fees, entry fees, that fees, this fees, lot of charges. By that I can make a revenue, and also renting out the property to the different commercial peoples. I will make revenue, rental revenue, like that I will make many revenues. That is the objective. That is what future economic benefit. That is the first condition. I am saying, sir, first 5 years I will construct this building, sir. Once I will see, once it is constructed beautifully, I'll just look at the building for one day and I will feel myself happy. Thereafter, I will demolish this building immediately. Because I'm not interested in making revenue. I just wanted to look at the building one time, how beautiful it is. Thereafter, I will demolish. Then future economic benefit is not there. Correct. Then you can't capitalize the interest. Okay. Second point, costs that are to be capitalized can be measured reliably. So this point is about, actually I should pay some interest. Actually I should have borrowed the money. You got it or not? Actually I should have borrowed the money. Actually I should have paid the interest. That is called cost to be measured reliably. Reliably means how much you paid. Where is the proof? How much interest you paid to the banker? Where is the proof? Where is the loan agreement? How you paid? Show me your bank statement. That is measured reliably. What is the amount you paid? 1 lakh I paid. Where is the proof? It is available in my bank statement. That is called measured reliably. You should not orally say, sir, I know one fellow. He is my friend. I borrowed money from him and I am paying interest in cash to him. There is no agreement at all. Just we are paying the interest in cash. Like we pay to the private financiers. So that is not a measured reliably thing. You should have a document. You should have a valid proof. Okay. Then next question is, I don't have a valid proof. I'm paying interest. Then what I should do? Then you should not capitalize the interest. Rather, you should debit the expenses into P&L. Rather, you should debit the expenses into P&L. That is what mentioned in last para. Last para is, other than eligible B should be debited to P&L account. Other than eligible is not there. If eligible is not there, then it should be debited to P&L in the period in which it is incurred. Okay? I'll go to the next slide now. I hope you understood. I'll go to the next slide. So the next thing is, again, all these things will be useful for 1 mark or theory purpose also. Specific and general borrowings. Specific and general borrowings. You know what is qualifying asset. You know what is accounting treatment. You know what is recognition. Then this thing is something part of the A section only. General borrowings, specific borrowings. When I will capitalize interest, when I borrow only, when I borrow for my qualifying asset, I will capitalize the interest portion. Then types of borrowing is specific and general borrowing. General borrowing, specific borrowing. Specific borrowing means my I'm constructing a mall. It will take 5 years to complete the construction. Loan amount required is 100 crore, and I borrowed 100 crore. And this 100 crore fully I am using for only the purpose of constructing the mall. Fully I am using for only constructing the mall. Then that is specific borrowing, because I borrowed specifically for the purpose of constructing the mall, this amount, and I will not use this amount for any other purpose. That is specific borrowing. What about general borrowing? What about general borrowing? Same builder, same mall constructor, builder borrowed 200 crores. Borrowed 200 crores. Is asking from the banker, give me 200 crores. Banker is saying, why you want 200 crores? I want for many purpose. What are the purpose? One is for constructing my mall, or I want to use for my business purpose, working capital loan, or for my personal loan also I want to pay, for vehicle loan I want to pay. Like that many purpose is mingled with that general borrowings. That is general borrowings. You got it? That is the difference between specific and general borrowings. Okay? Specific borrowings are those specifically borrowed for incurring non-qualifying asset. In this case, capitalization rate is the actual cost of borrowing cost incurred. So that is why specific borrowing, general borrowing. In specific borrowing, whatever the interest you pay, that is only for the purpose of constructing mall. You can take it directly that interest and you can capitalize. But in case of general borrowings, it is not like that. You are paying one interest amount. That interest amount you are paying for many purpose. One of the purpose is constructing the mall. Other purpose you would have used in your business. Other purpose you would have borrowed, you would have used for buying the vehicle. Other purpose for personal purpose you would have used. So out of this total interest, how much belongs to mall construction? That we have to identify. That is called general borrowings. We will go through the general borrowings. Before that, one more point in specific borrowing. What is that point? You borrowed the money for the 100 crore. That is only for the purpose of constructing the mall. You are keeping that money in your account idly. You don't want to keep that money idle. You don't want to keep that money idle. Hello. சொல்லுங்க. சொல்லலாம். ம். ம். ஆமாப்பா, அது கரெக்ட் தான். ஆகஸ்ட்டுக்கு போடுப்பா நீ. ஆகஸ்ட் போடுறது செப்டம்பர்ல போடு. ஆமாப்பா, நீ ஆகஸ்ட்டுக்கு செப்டம்பர் போடு. அது என்ன வந்திருக்கோ அதை போடு, அவ்வளவுதான். நான் கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன், ஒரு டீச்சர். Sorry. So, income on temporary investments related to specific borrowing alone should be deducted from borrowing cost and net amount should be capitalized. What is the meaning of this one? What is the meaning of this one? I borrowed the money for some constructing the mall. For constructing the mall, I borrowed, but I'm not able to use 100 crore now presently fully. So what I did, that 100 crore I kept in deposit for the temporary period. I got some interest income out of that deposit. What I will do? That income is generated, how I am generated, idle money kept in my bank account, I borrowed from borrower, I'm not fully used for my project, so I deposited somewhere, I am getting some interest income. That interest income should be adjusted with the interest paid to my banker. That is what they are saying here. Okay? Income on temporary investment related to specific borrowing alone should be deducted from the borrowing cost and the net amount should be capitalized. For example, 10 crore interest I am paying to by my borrower, and 1 crore I got some temporary income because of I invested that money in my deposit. 10 crore I paying to borrower, 1 crore income I generated, temporary income I generated. So 10 minus 1 equal to 9 is my interest should be capitalized. It should be capitalized in my cost of asset. That's what they are saying. It should be capitalized. Okay. I hope you are able to understand that. Okay. So what is the next point? Next point. General borrowing. As I said already, general borrowing is nothing but, sir, I want 200 crores, sir. Why you want? I want for many purposes, sir. What are the purpose? For business or working capital purpose, for buying a vehicle purpose, for personal loan purpose, for constructing my mall purpose. So for all the purpose, we want only one loan. Okay, that is general borrowing. Then what is the rate of interest? Rate of interest they will give. What is belongs to my qualifying asset? That we have to identify separately. Okay, that we will identify. How to identify, I'll explain. Shall I go to the next slide? Shall I go to the next slide? Next slide, shall I move? Okay. Capitalization procedures. Capitalization procedures. Now the next slide is capitalization procedure. Till now we understood qualifying asset, borrowing cost, qualifying asset, recognition, and general borrowing, special borrowings. And we know that already that interest should be capitalized in the books of accounts along with the cost of the asset. Now the next thing is when to start the capitalization, when I should complete the capitalization, when I should stop the capitalization, when I temporarily suspend the capitalization. Capitalization commencement, meaning when I should start capitalizing my interest with my cost of the asset. Capitalization commencement. The borrowing cost incurred on qualifying assets should be capitalized only all the below condition is satisfied. What are the conditions? What are the conditions? Let's go. What are the conditions? So the point is you are eligible for capitalizing the interest, but for that there is some condition. First thing is you should have a qualifying asset. Qualifying asset means asset under preparation. Then the next thing is you should have borrowed the money. You should have borrowed the money. That is the next condition. Generally, I am talking. And you borrowed the money, okay. But have you spent for your project that? That is the another condition. That's what you have said. See, just go through the first condition. Expenditure on qualifying asset is being incurred. Expenditure on qualifying asset is being incurred means I borrowed 100 crore. Okay, I borrowed 100 crore. But what are you doing with that 100 crore? What are you doing with 100 crore means what I should do? I should have incurred on my qualifying asset, meaning I would have spent for constructing the building, simply borrowed the money 100 crore. And what I'm saying is, sir, first 2 years I'm not interested in any construction, sir. I'm going to repay interest only. I'm not going to construct anything. I'm not going to spend anything out of 100 crore. Just I'm going to keep that and I will pay interest to you. Then you are not eligible for capitalization. 100 crore you borrowed, how much you utilized? 50 crore. For that 50 crore, what interest you paid? That only you are eligible for capitalization of interest. Balance 50 crore idle, sir. Simply I paid interest to banker, sir. Then you are not eligible for balance 50 crore interest. You should not capitalize that balance 50 crore interest. Because you are not used for your business. You are not used for your construction purpose. You just kept in idle and you are claiming for capitalization not allowed. Okay? What is the next condition? Borrowing costs are incurred. Okay, you borrowed the money. Have you paid the interest? Yes, I paid the interest. If you actually paid the interest, then you are eligible for capitalization. I borrowed the money, sir, but interest not paid, sir. Interest waiver is given by banker, sir. Banker said you don't pay interest for next 6 months. RBI allowed timeline, sir. Free of cost. You take it free of cost, no interest for you. Then that time, in that time, you are not able to capitalization. Okay? What is the third one? Such activities into technical administrative work also. Thing is, you should do your construction. You should not, that's what, you should not keep idle. Next 2 years, small, I'm not going to construct. And I'm going to close temporarily. After 2 years only, I'm going to construct. Then not allowed. Capitalization not allowed. Activities are in progress means you are doing something. You are daily putting some bricks and cement, all those things, and you are starting your construction. That is activities in progress. Okay. Capitalization commencement. Understood. Shall I go to the next slide? Shall I go to the next slide? Yes. Okay. Capitalization position. Suspend capitalization. Suspend capitalization. What is the suspend capitalization? Suspend capitalization means temporarily we are not allowing to capitalize the interest. When we should not capitalize the interest temporarily, that we have to understand. Okay? That we will understand now. Activities may get suspended for avoidable reason or unavoidable reason. What is this avoidable suspend for unavoidable reason, unavoidable reason? For example, there is an flood in the city due to which I'm not able to continue my project. I'm not able to continue my construction for 1 year because because it's a nature calamity. Correct? Then that is an avoidable reason or unavoidable reason. As per you, I'm not able to construct my building due to flood. Someone has messaged corona or due to corona for some time. For example, 2 to 3 months lockdown, national lockdown. Due to national lockdown, I'm not able to construct my building. Is an avoidable reason or unavoidable reason? Avoidable or unavoidable? Yeah, a lot of unavoidable. Previna, Kavita, Subin, Padmavati, Kirtika, unavoidable. Unavoidable. Correct. It's an unavoidable. Say for example, I am not able to pay to my labor. I am not able to pay to my labor due to cash crunch. I am not able to pay to my labor. Because of that, labor is not working for 2 months. For 2 months, labor is not working. Whether it is an avoidable or unavoidable. Senapati, unavoidable. Kavita, avoidable. Avoidable or unavoidable? Kirtika, all of you send message, no? Huh? Participate, try to participate so that it will bring some positive energy for all of us. Try to put some lines whenever I'm asking you message so that you are able to see that I'm not sleeping here. So I want to ensure from your side also you're not sleeping and you're active, sending some messages whenever I'm asking so that I'm happy. That will motivate myself also. Correct? Avoidable reasons. Correct? Avoidable reasons only. If you are not able to pay to your labor, that is your problem. You don't have money. Then it is an avoidable reason. If it is a natural calamity, then it is an unavoidable reason. Or naturally, sometimes what will happen? When I construct the dam, when I will construct the dam, when the construction of dam, for every height, for increasing every height, I have to leave some time. I have to leave some time and I have to check the capacity. Whether this stability, all those things I have to check. Then only I can construct further. I can increase the depth and height. So for the gestation period of 3 years is an unavoidable one because I'm testing the stability of the dam. That is also an unavoidable one. Yeah, I understood. You put that point. I understood. Okay. Activities may get suspended for avoidable reason or for unavoidable reason. So the point is why we are studying this one. You can ask me why we are studying, sir. If it is an unavoidable reason, what to do? If it is an avoidable reason, what to do? If you are suspending your project due to unavoidable reason or avoidable reason, if it is an avoidable reason, then you are not eligible for capitalizing the interest. You have to debit interest into a penal account immediately. Case law, all these things are case law oriented. All these things are case law oriented. If you are suspending your project due to avoidable reason, then don't capitalize the interest. Rather debit the interest into penal account. But if you are suspending the project due to unavoidable reason, then you can continue your capitalization during that period also. During that reason, during the period which due to some unavoidable reason, you during that period also, corona period also, you are eligible to capitalize the interest. Okay, that is what the purpose of this one we are studying. If suspension activity is for avoidable reason, then do not capitalize the borrowing cost and charge off to the P&L account. If suspension activity is for avoidable reason, then do not capitalize the borrowing cost and charge off to the P&L account. Okay? If suspension activity is for unavoidable reason, if the suspension activity is for unavoidable reason, then continue capitalization of BC subject to prudence. Okay? Understood? Shall I go further? Shall I move further? Shall I move to the next slide? Yes. Capitalization procedure. Stop capitalization. What is this stop capitalization? Stop capitalization means normally when it will happen, sir, I completed my project. I completed my project means I completed the building, I completed the mall construction. Now the building is available for use. Then that is called stop capitalization. Stop capitalization of what? Capitalization of interest, capitalization of borrowing cost. Stop that capitalization of borrowing cost. That is stop capitalization. When I should stop? If you completed the building construction, if you completed the asset is available, ready for use, then you can stop. That's what meant explained here. Activities for making assets ready for its intended use, sale are substantially completed. Okay? That is substantially completed. Then minor administrative works are yet to be completed. Minor administrative works are yet to be completed. Meaning, sir, I completed all the work, sir, but some painting workers, I have to put some painting work, sir, for additional beautification. For additional beautification, I have to put some painting work, sir. That is minor administrative work. You got it on what I'm saying? Okay? AC is not installed, sir. Only fan is available. That is a minor administrative work. Okay? Only final touching of painting is not yet completed, sir. That is a minor work. Then that is allowed. Then that is also allowed. We can consider as a completion only. Okay? When asset is completed in parts and completed parts, there is some spelling mistake. Completed parts, PA or TS will come. Okay? And completed parts can be ready to use, comma. When work on others is in progress, comma. Capitalization of completed parts should be stopped. So what they are trying to say is, say for example, I'm an apartment builder. I'm constructing an apartment. I borrowed a loan for constructing lot of apartments, block A, block B, block C, block D. I borrowed a loan for all the blocks A, B, C, D. For 4 block construction, I borrowed a loan, and I constructed separately block A. Block A fully constructed, but block B is not completed. Block C is not constructed. Block D is not constructed. Can I use this block A separately for use, or I should wait for block B, block C, block D? Whether the block A is available for use or it is not available for use. Put yes or no. Put yes or no. Whether the block A is available for use or it is not available for use. Ravina, yes. Vahari, yes. Disha, yes. Surya, yes. Sorry, available for use. Bhubati, yes. Yes only. Because we know that apartment normally they will sell like that only. Na? First they will say phase 1. Phase 1 is completed, then phase 2, phase 3, like that only they will do. That's what they are saying here. So if you completed the block A, apartment A, phase 1, then whatever the interest, whatever the interest further you are paying, it should not be capitalized related to A. Because qualifying asset is over. For A is completed means you should not capitalize anything further for interest. Interest, whatever the interest belongs to A, you should not capitalize further. It should be debited to P&L account. Because construction is over. For BCD, you can continue. Because BCD completion is not over. Okay? What next? I think disclosure. So what I suggest is We'll go to the material. We'll go to the material and we'll solve the problems. Illustration 9 is the first problem that we'll work out. Later, first we will work out other problems, basic problems. Illustration 10. Illustration 10. So what is this illustration 10? Please take your material. Please take your, try to take your notebook, text notebook. Two things you should keep for accountancy paper. This is not purely theory paper. This is practical paper. Okay, auditing we can discuss theoretically, but this is accounts we have to work out. Unless if you don't work out, then you are taking a big risk. That's what my past experience. Okay, you don't try to read the accounts. Rather, work out the accounts, solve the problems always. Don't try to read the answer. Don't try to read the answer in your mind. Don't try to work out the problem in your mind. Try work out the problem in only notebook with some decent presentation. Okay? So take your material, go to illustration 10. Go to illustration 10 and just go through the question first. Just go through the question first. Just go through the question. After reading the question, you should think whether there is a qualifying asset is there or not. First you have to think whether there is a qualifying asset is there or not. Then next you have to think if there is a qualifying asset, what is the accounting treatment? If there is no qualifying asset, then what is the accounting treatment? If there is a qualifying asset, what is the accounting treatment? If there is no qualifying asset, then what is the accounting treatment? You got it? All of you having material? This is important for examination actually. You can expect some 5 to 6 marks problem or even short notes or even 1 mark also. This topic is little bit important. Okay? All of you having material. Material இருக்கா எல்லார்கிட்டயும்? Material இருக்கா? யூஸ் பண்றீங்களா? Yes sir. Yes sir. Question மட்டும் ஒரு வாட்டி படிங்க. Question மட்டும் you just go through. Question படிங்க. Question மட்டும் படிங்க. Answer don't read. Just read the question. Just read the question. நீங்களே படிக்கிறீங்களா? Question படிக்கிறீங்களா? படிச்சிட்டீங்கன்னா we will go to the answer. I will explain the answer. படிச்சாச்சா? எல்லாம் படிச்சிட்டீங்களா? Put 111. Put 111. Question complete பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா put at least type 1111. ஒரே ஒரு 1 மட்டும் press பண்ணி டைப் பண்ணுங்க. If you completed the question. I want at least 21. Then only I will go to the answer. Question படிச்சிட்ட பிறகு 1 டைப் பண்ணணும். சும்மா 1 டைப் பண்ணக்கூடாது. இங்க வரலையே, ரொம்ப கம்மியா வந்திருக்கு. ஒரு 15 I think around 10 to 15 members only replied. அப்ப பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கவங்க படிக்கல. ஓகே. Okay. Let's go to the answer. Okay. So the point is, the question is, on 24/2012, M Limited obtained a loan from the bank of rupees 50 lakhs. M Limited வந்து 50 லட்சம் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க. 50 லட்சம் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க. லோன் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க பேங்க்ல. எதுக்காக வாங்கிட்டாங்க? What is the purpose of this loan actually? What is the purpose of this loan? First purpose is construction of shed. For that they used 20 lakhs. What is the next purpose? Purchase of machinery. Purchase of machinery, 15 lakhs. Third purpose is what? Working capital loan. அதுக்கு எவ்வளோ? How much for working capital? 10 lakhs. And what is the fourth purpose? 5 lakhs. Advance for purchase of truck to 5 lakhs. In March 2013, construction of shed was completed, machinery was installed. Delivery of truck was not received. Total interest charged by the bank is 9 lakhs. Show the treatment of interest under A16. This is the question. This is the question. Okay. Now, before getting into the answer, you have to think construction of a shed. I borrowed totally 50 lakhs. 50 lakh out of 50 lakhs I am using for many purposes. So someone has messaged me general borrowings. Yes, it is correct, general borrowings only. But our question is, first point in our mind is whether it is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. What is qualifying asset? Asset is getting ready for use. It will take substantial period of time. Okay. Construction of a shed. I am in the beginning of the year 2012. Construction of a shed is completed when actually? As per the question, it is completed on March 2013. As per the question, it is completed on March 2013. I am in the beginning of the year. 20 lakh rupees I am paying for construction of shed. So for this 1 year, up to March 2013, asset is constructed or not constructed? Construction of shed. Yes or no? Constructed means yes, not constructed means no. Message me. Why? Yes means you can type yes, no. Yes, it is constructed. Up to March, whether it is constructed or not constructed. The building is constructed or not constructed. Up to March, it is not constructed. Construction of shed means what? What is the meaning? Construction of a shed. Grammar. Little bit of grammar also required. Construction of a shed means what? It is what you can say. Construction of a shed means whether the work is completed or not completed. Construction of a shed means whether the work is completed or not completed. In process. Yes, in progress. So actually the 31st March only it is completed. That means up to March it is not completed. For this 1 year, full 1 year, it is not completed. Year end 31st March only it is completed, meaning this whole year it is not completed. So for this whole year it is a qualifying asset. At the year end March 31st only it is completed. So for this 12 months it is not completed. So it is a qualifying asset. Okay. It is for this year. For year 12-13 it is a qualifying asset. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? For this 1 year it is not a it is a qualifying asset because asset is under construction. Do you agree with me or not? You will agree. Okay. So what is it accounting treatment, sir? You are saying it is not a asset is not constructed. It is a qualifying asset. What is accounting treatment? If any interest is paid for this construction of said, then that interest should be capitalized. That interest should be capitalized. That is the accounting treatment. For the first item, we completed only the first item. We will work out how to calculate that. We will work out. Come to the second item, purchase of machinery. Come to the second item, purchase of machinery. Purchase of machinery means what, sir? From the language, machinery means I am purchasing. When I will purchase? Purchase of machinery means whether the asset is available for use or not to use. Purchase of machinery, whether the asset is available for use or it is not available for use. Can I purchase the machinery and can I use it immediately or I should wait? English. This is more about English. Pravina, not available. NOA, it is NQA. It is readily available for use. Darshini, use it immediately. Kavita, available for use. From C. From Padmavati, available for use. Yes, it is available for use. You are buying a machinery and you can start immediately your production. Then that is not a qualifying asset because asset construction is already over. You are buying and you are keeping in your factory and you can make production immediately. Then that is not a qualifying asset. If it is not a qualifying asset, then interest portion should not be capitalized. Rather, it should be debited to P&L. Okay, how to do that? I will explain that. So, what is the next item? What is the next item? Working capital loan. Working capital means what? Working capital loan normally used for the purpose of constructing the capital project, for the purpose of constructing something. Qualifying as to working capital loan is used. Why we are using? Why we are borrowing working capital loan? What is the purpose? Message me. What is the purpose? Why we are getting working capital loan? Working capital loan means what purpose we will use normally. Just put your thoughts. Just message me. Use for day-to-day expenses. Sandhya, Ravina, day-to-day expenses. Continue. Don't lose that energy. Don't lose your energy. Continue. Keep on messaging. That's OD, sir. To meet daily expenses. Correct. Working capital loan is not generally used for the purpose of the construction for building something. It is used for the purpose of meeting the revenue expenditure. Working capital loan is not used for meeting the revenue expenditure for day-to-day business. So whatever the interest paid for that, whatever the interest paid for paying the working capital loan should not be capitalized. Rather, it should be debited. Okay. What is the last item? What is the last item? Advance for purchase of tractor. Advance for purchase. Advance you forget. Just the purchase of tractor. You are purchasing one tractor. Tractor means what? Four-wheeler. You are purchasing that. Whether it is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. Tell me. Yes or no? Qualifying asset means yes. Not a qualifying asset means no. No. Yes. Why it is no? Why it is no means because tractor you can buy and you can drive on first day itself. You drive it right in the showroom itself. Then whatever you pay advance or you actually pay the amount also you receive the tractor. Anything related to tractor, not a qualifying asset. Because asset is already qualified, ready to use. Okay? Okay. So now we completed the classification. Now we completed the classification. Classification means first thing is qualifying or not qualifying. That is the first thing you have to identify. Once you identify, the next thing is capitalization or not a capitalization. Okay. I'll just work out this. So what I should do, what I should do, yeah, particulars, then amount, then what? Qualifying or not qualifying asset, then interest, then treatment. Treatment is accounting treatment. Okay. So what I should do is, what is the first item? What is the first item? Is first item is construction of shed. Amount is how much? 20 lakhs. Amount is how much? 20 lakhs. Qualifying asset or non-qualifying asset? QA and QA. QA and QA. Message me. QA and QA. 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 Interest we will calculate later. First we will complete this thing. Qualifying and not qualifying thing we will complete. Then what is the next item? Next item I think machinery. I think how much? 15 lakhs? Yeah, 15 lakhs. Qualifying or not qualifying? QA or NQA? Purchase of QA or NQA? NQA. NQA is not a qualifying asset. You have to write fully qualifying, not qualifying, full thing you should write. Should not NQA if you put in exam, then uh, they do valuer will not know that. You write in full manner, okay? Then due to space constraint, I have this here. Interest. Interest we will work out later. Third one, working capital loan. Working capital loan how much? 10 rupees. 10 lakh. QA or NQA? This NQA. This is also NQA. Then fourth one, truck advance. Truck advance 5 lakh. QA or NQA? NQA. Okay. So as per the question, what is the interest paid as per the question? Total interest paid as per the question is 9 lakh. 9 lakh is the total interest paid for the 50 lakhs loan. Total interest equal to 9 lakhs. Then we have to proportion this. We have to make a proportionate of this total interest for all the loans, different type of loans. How to do that? So first, shed 9 lakh is for the loan of 50 lakhs. 9 lakh interest for loan of 50 lakhs into for shed they used 20 lakhs. Into for shed they used 20 lakhs. So 9 divided 50 into 20 equal to rupees. How much? Just tell me how much. In second category, how much for shed? The next one. You should take your calculator and 3.6 lakhs. Correct. Don't read the answer. You should plant and machinery. How much spent? 9 lakhs for loan. 9 lakhs interest for 50 lakhs loan. Into 50 lakhs taken for plant and machinery. How much? For plant and machinery, interest portion how much? How much? It's sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. 2.7 lakhs. Then plant and machinery, then working capital loan. Working capital loan. And 50 into 10. How much? How much is for working capital loan? 1.8 lakhs. Then truck advance. 80 advance truck. What is the nothing? 9 divided by 50 into 5 equal to 0.9 lakhs. All of you should work out through calculator. Try to work out in notebook. You are going to write in examination. You are going to present in notebook. Hopefully they will conduct examination as usual. Not this 1 mark type. Okay. What I should do next? I got the interest. Now I am going to write here. Interest for construction of shed is 3.6 lakhs. Machinery 2.4 lakhs. Then working capital loan 1.8 lakhs. Then truck advance 0.9 lakhs. This is the interest portion. Now the main thing of the question is accounting treatment. Now tell me for construction of shed, I got an interest of 3.6 lakhs. 3.6 lakhs. What I should do is 3.6 lakhs. I got an interest portion of 3.6 lakhs in my books of accounts. What I should do with this 3.6 lakhs? Whether it is spent for qualifying assets, it's spent for qualifying assets. Should I capitalize or should I debit to my P&L account? Should I capitalize or should I debit to my P&L account? Machinery is 2.9 or 3.6 to 2.7, 1.8, 0.9. 3.6, 2.7. Correct only. 2.7. Machinery is 2.7 only. Okay. So what I'm asking is, lot of people's message is capitalization. Yes, of course. If I spent on qualifying asset, then the related interest portion should be capitalized. So what I should do is, accounting statement I should write capitalize the interest. Capitalize the interest. Okay. Then come to the next item, machinery, working capital loan, truck advance. All these things are not a qualifying asset. All these things are not a qualifying asset. Correct. Then what is the accounting treatment for this interest portion? P&L account, debit to P&L account. Padmavati, Swati. Then what else? Others. What is your view? Just share your view. All these other non-qualifying assets, what is the accounting treatment? Charge to P&L account, debit to P&L account, Suganya, Pravina, debit to P&L account. Yes. If it is a non-qualifying asset, then interest portion should be debited to P&L account. Soundarya, debit to P&L account. So, all these things, all the three category, only one answer. All this interest portion should be debit to P&L account. Okay. All three items, 3.7, 1.8, 0.9. All these three things should be debited to P&L account because it is spent on non-qualifying asset. Understood? You go through the issue answer, same thing they would have presented in different manner also, but you can write the manner whatever you want. You have to write a little bit English also. English in the sense, before working out the problem, you should start with explanation. What is borrowing cost? What is qualifying asset? If it is a qualifying asset, means we have to capitalize the interest. If it is a non-qualifying asset, means we have to debit to P&L account. This you have to write first, then you have to work out the problem. Okay? Shall we move to the next problem? Shall we move to the next problem? Shall we move to the next problem? Yes. Okay. 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 Just go through the question. Just go through the question. M limited. M limited question. Just to go to question. M limited as after. Please go through the question. Take 2 minutes time. Take 2 minutes time and go through the question alone. Just to go through the question alone. I will give you 2 minutes time. Just to go through the question. Gone through the question. Shall we discuss the answer? Shall we discuss the question once again, then we will go to the answer. So, what is the question? M Limited has obtained an institutional loan of rupees 680 lakhs. M Limited company got a loan of 680 lakhs. For what purpose? Modernization and renovation of its plant and machinery. Modernization and renovation of its plant and machinery. Okay? Plant and machinery acquired under modernization scheme and installation completed on 31/3/2013 amounted to rupees 520 lakhs. Then 30 lakhs has been advanced to suppliers for additional assets, and the balance loan of 130 lakhs used for the working capital purpose. Total interest paid is 68 lakhs. This is the question. So you have to interpret the question first. You have to interpret the question. How to interpret the question, sir? By words given in the question. From that you try to interpret. First line. What is the first line? M Limited has obtained an institutional loan of 680 lakhs for modernization and renovation. What is this modernization? Modernization means what? Renovation means what? If I do renovation, if I put some whitewash, for example, I am putting whitewash for my plant and machinery, or putting some coloring, something like that I am doing. I am putting paint for my plant and machinery renovation. Whether it is an modernization, I am putting some paint work. Just I am putting some paint color, changing the paint color for my plant and machinery. Whether that is modernization or renovation. Renovation. VK. Soundarya. Ganapati. Renovation. Renovation. Darshini. Wala renovation. Kavita renovation. So then what is modernization? Modernization means how it differs from renovation. Say for example, the same plant and machinery, I am doing something on that machinery. Something means I am doing some work. Okay? Then what will happen? I am able to increase the capacity of plant and machinery. For example, now I am able to produce only 1 lakh units from this machinery. After doing this modernization, I am able to increase that units to 1,50,000 units. Extra 50,000 units I am able to produce from the manufacturer, from the plant and machinery. Then that is modernization. Simply painting and it looks beautiful, colorful. That is not modernization. You are not getting any additional benefit. Only if you have an additional benefit, then you can term that as a modernization. So it is not only renovation in this problem, in this question. Plant and machinery, they are modernizing means they are incurring some additional capital expenditure for getting some additional inflow, future economic benefits. That is what we have to assume. That is what you have to presume. That is how you have to interpret the question. So what I am trying to say is, my point is whether this expenditure is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. Whether this expenditure is incurred on a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. That is the question. For that only I am giving an explanation. Yes, it is incurred for purpose of modernization. So I am assuming they are incurred for that is incurred on qualifying assets. What portion? This is for plant and machinery only. Plant and machinery, what is the amount they spent for plant and machinery? 520 lakhs. Total loan is 680 lakhs, out of which 520 lakhs is for plant and machinery. Then what about the balance? 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs advance to supplies for additional assets. 30 lakhs has been advanced to supplier for additional asset. What is that additional asset? Whether that additional asset is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset? Question is silent. That additional asset is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset? Question is silent. Simply they mentioning additional asset. What is the additional asset? What is the nature of that additional asset? We don't know. So we have to take some positive assumption in this case. Positive assumption means what? We are assuming that this additional asset it's related to the plant and machinery, modernization of plant and machinery. For that purpose, they are buying this additional asset also. So we have to assume that also qualifying asset. But that is an assumption only. Since question is not clear, we have to take this assumption. They are simply saying additional asset. What type of asset is it? We don't know. We have to assume, we have to link with the continuation of the question. Then we have to assume ourselves that that also belongs to a qualifying asset. That is the only option. So I am assuming that additional asset is also a part of the qualifying asset. That is also part of this modernization program. So 520 plus 30, 550, both is qualifying assets. That assumption only we have to take it. Okay. So we have taken that assumption. Okay. Then what about the balance amount? 130 lakhs, for what purpose they used it? 130 lakhs has been used for working capital purpose. 130 lakhs used for working capital purpose. Working capital purpose, if I use whether it is a qualifying asset or not a qualifying asset. Money is used for working capital purpose. The qualifying asset, not a qualifying asset. NQA, Padmavati, Swati, Bhupati, NQA, Kanya, NQA, Reena, NQA, Hemalata, NQA. Yes, of course, if I use it for the working capital loan, then it is not qualifying asset directly because it is for your business purpose. Sometimes what will happen in question itself, they will say working capital loan got it, but they use it for capital project, but they use it for construction purpose. Then we have to think differently. If they simply give working capital loan, then we have to assume it is not used for qualifying asset. So not a qualifying asset. Okay. Rest of the things is simple. Again, you have to work out the problem. Same manner you should work out. How I work out the previous problem. Like this you have to work out. Like this you have to work out. 680 out of 680, 520, 30, then 120. 120 or 130. 130. For that you have to proportion the interest. Can you work out yourself this problem as a homework? Can you work out this problem as a homework yourself? Similar to the problem. Nothing is new. Only you should know what is qualifying asset, what is not qualifying asset. Interest you can do it yourself, work out and all. You should know what should be capitalized. Which portion of interest should be capitalized. That is very important. The loan, 520 lakhs plus 30 lakhs interest portion should be capitalized. Balance whatever you spend for 130 lakhs interest should not be capitalized. It should be debited to P&L account because that 130 lakhs is for working capital loan. Okay. I think I'm getting a lot of yes. I hope you will work out yourself. I'm getting 3 yes. Actually, only 3 yes I'm getting. So others, you want me to work out or you will work out yourself as a homework? As a homework, are you ready to work out? Yes. Then we will go to the next one. Forgot about this answer percentage and loan percentage, that is not required. Interest, what is the account limit? That you can follow the previous problem method also, not a problem. I will go to the next problem now. Illustration 12. Just go to the question first. Just to go through the question first. Please go through the question. Take only 2 minutes. Take only 2 minutes. Just go through the question. Illustration 12. Just go through the question alone. Just go through the question. Shall I? Question reading is over. Question reading is over. I'll proceed with the answer. Okay. So the question is, there is a loan. There is a loan actually. In the company notes to account, they have mentioned this. What they mentioned actually? Interest on bridge loan from banks and financial institutions and on deposits specifically obtained for the company's fertilizer project amounting to 1 crore 80 lakhs 80,000 has been capitalized during the year, which include approximately 1 crore 70 lakh 33,465 capitalized in respect of the utilization of loan and deposit money for the said purpose. Ascertain the amount of revenue expenditure. That is the question. So what they are trying to say is they bought a loan. They bought a loan and they paid the interest actually. Why they bought a loan? They bought a loan for the purpose of bridge. I think they are constructing the bridge. Okay? And one more thing is company's fertilizer project. They are doing some other capital project. Assumption is they are doing some capital project, fertilizer project. Both are under the construction. That is an assumption we have to take it here. Okay? And one more thing is they capitalized 1 crore 80 lakhs 80,000 rupees during the year for this project. For both these projects, they capitalized totally 1 crore 80 lakhs 80,000 rupees. But they are mentioning in notes to accounts actually 1 crore 70 lakh 33,465 rupees only. That means that 1 crore 70 lakh 33,465 rupees of interest only belongs to this project. Exactly used for the purpose of this project. You got it? The balance amount, whatever the amount, they actually did not belong to this project. They used it for some other purpose. The loan they used it for some other purpose. But that interest they also capitalized with this project itself. Whether this is a correct accounting treatment, as per you, whether this is a correct accounting treatment, yes or no? As per you, whether it is a correct accounting treatment? No, 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 no. Kavita, no. PK, no. No or yes, sir? All others. No. Why no means actually it is no. Why no? Because as per our presentation, one of the point in our presentation is what is one of the point in our presentation? Borrowing cost actually incurred. Borrowing cost actually Borrowing cost actually incurred. Second bullet point, you remember borrowing cost is actually incurred, then only eligible. For that thing only it is eligible. You go through here, you go through the second bullet point, borrowing cost actually incurred for the purpose of project, then only that portion only it is eligible. So out of 1 crore 80 lakhs 80,000, 1 crore 70 lakh 33,465 only eligible for capitalization. Balance 10 lakh 46,535 is not eligible for capitalization. So the balance 10 lakh 46,535 should be debited to P&L account. Only 1 lakh 70,033,465 only should be capitalized. Okay, 10 lakh 46,535 should be removed and it should be debited to P&L account. Should be debited to P&L account. That is your revenue expenditure. Okay. Uh, with this, today class is completed. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, please ask me. Please ask me any doubts. If you have any doubts, we will continue this topic tomorrow. Also, the next class also will complete. We have some few more problems. Shall I close the session? Thank you.